Good, beautiful morning, fellow firewood lovers. This is Chris, and we're in the wood yard. Today, I will be splitting the final little bit of cherry right here that's cut up. Yesterday and the day before, I cut this up and split it. So this big pile here is just about complete. So I'll be finishing that. First, I gotta throw a little bit of gas in the splitter, and I'm gonna split that. It is an absolutely gorgeous day today. It's about 30 degrees right now, a little bit of wind, but the sun is out, birds are singing. It's going to be a John Denver day. There is sunshine on my shoulders. So after I get this done, I'm going to head over this direction. And I've got a half a load of locust that I'm going to cut up. I had got a half a load of locust last fall that I cut up and split, so this will be another half, so I have a full truckload. Right here is the locust, as you can see. Nice size stuff, not too big, not too small. Bark's coming off, which is kind of very common with locust. After you cut it, the bark all comes off. When my logger unloaded it, you can see right here, this is all the bark starts to fall off. Doesn't take long for it to start to dry and become barkless, which is really nice. So this is what I'm going to cut up next, and when I cut it up, I'm going to throw it right here, and then I'm going to split it in this area, and then I've got pallets set up already right here, so I'm going to stack it like right in through here, and maybe a little bit right in here. I guess I'm going to try to keep it more back this way, because I might get another load and put it here. So that's the locust, and then after that's done, then we'll head over here to these two big rows of old barkless oak. The stuff was all dead standing, and I'm going to get that cut up eventually. And then there's two rows here. That's a mix of stuff back there, and that's all oak in the front row here. And then once the snow melts, ground melts, then I got that big stack back there. The big pile I have to get stacked, and then all this will need to be stacked, all that will need to be stacked. So there's a lot of work to do, as you can see, which is normal for me to have a lot of work to do, because the only way to sell a lot of firewood is to have a lot of firewood. The only way to have a lot of firewood is to cut and split a lot of firewood. So that's the plan for today. I'm going to get to work now and do some splittage, and then I will get the saws sharpened up, and we're going to cut on that locust this afternoon. So here we go. All right, the splitting is 99.999% done. There's the pile. All I got left is this guy right here. This is a burl, and I specifically left that for the end because I know it's going to be a pain in the butt to split. I've split a few of them in the past. Usually they just kind of shatter and chunks fall off. It's hard because there's no real definitive direction in the grain. Usually the grain is all over the place or curves a lot on the outsides. So it's usually a pain. So I'm going to try to split it down the middle and then quarters and then try to take some chunks off of it. But it's like 3 times as heavy as the rest of the wood chunks because it is such tight grained where the burl is, and there's a lot of moisture in the wood where there's burls. So I'm going to split that by itself, regular speed, so you can kind of see how it goes. So I'm going to start the splitter up, throw it on there and see what happens. And then the pile will be done. Go. Okay, so there's the burl, and I know some of you that are woodworkers are probably crying right now because that would have been a beautiful piece to make a bowl out of or turn into something cool. And I don't get too many of them, but I only get a few. Usually it's in the cherry. Once in a while you'll get one in some maple or something like that. But anyway, my brother, who also sells firewood, works for a paper company in their woodlands division, and he used to get every year dozens of burls because they get in thousands and thousands of pulp cords, like hundreds of thousands of pulp cords of wood that goes to a paper mill. So he was able to pull them out, cut them off, and he would buy the logs from the company that he worked for, because a lot of times they were bigger too, and they wouldn't go through their chippers and for their paper processing. So he had a market where he could actually sell them, and the guy that he was selling them to died. So, and he didn't have the contact for being able to do it anymore. So he's looking for someone to sell them to. He's in northern Wisconsin, and like I say, he gets quite a few of them. Some that you can't even lift, and they're big. And he's got one guy that occasionally will buy one or two, you know, a year, and he makes big bowls out of them, stuff like that. So anyway, there's the burl, there's the pile. It is complete. Now, this pile, just a little bit on the numbers, was, like I said earlier, this pile was 7.5 pulp cords, full cords, that I bought. That was a half of a truckload. It's all cherry, and I kept track of all my time on it, and right now, without the stacking, I've got a total of about 17 hours into the cutting and the splitting. So that's kind of normal for a half a truckload, because usually it's right around 42 to 44 hours, 45 hours, somewhere in that range, from beginning to end, from the amount of time that it takes me to cut, split, and stack. Now I know stacking this, it's about, I don't know, probably 6 hours worth of stacking, because I can usually stack a whole truckload in less than 2 days. Usually a day and a half is what it takes me if I stack it. But I do have a high school kid, a teenager, that works for me in the summertime, and he'll be stacking a lot of this stuff that I won't be able to get to right away. So now I just want to keep cutting, get as much of it cut and split as possible, and have a big workload for him, and then I'll work on stacking some of it. The reason I'm not stacking it right now is it's starting to melt, and we're coming into spring now, so eventually the ground will thaw, and then I'll be able to clean everything up, and I'll be able to do a better job of stacking it. In the wintertime, I stack when the ground is frozen real nice and hard, and I have open space where there's no snow. So that's where all this stuff is, why this is all stacked here, and all that over there is stacked, and the stuff back here was stacked. Some of that fell. I got to restack that because it's where the logs kind of bumped it when he was unloading it. When I was splitting too, I also had some oak in here. So what I did is I just chucked that off to the side right here. There was some red oak in there and a little bit of white oak too. So that'll get put right in this pile right here. I'll just mix it in with the pile of hickory there on the end, because I sell it kind of for the same price anyway. So there you go. The splitting for today is done. I'm gonna go.